Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Thursday, December 7th, 11 p.m. Mountain Time 2017. The fires continue. The numbers are epic. We're going to go over them shortly, and then we're going to get into the meat of the update. Now, these fires are being driven by the Santa Ana winds and this extreme weather pattern that's setting up that we're calling the grand solar minimum. And we are well aware of what's happening. This weather pattern has been predicted, and historically it has been reported on in the past. We know of the cyclicity of the pattern, and the modern models, solar forcing models, suggest that the coming decades will be descending into the next grand minimum. And what that means is weather events that need new classifications. Now, San Diego fire weather is so extreme that purple is the new red, according to the officials. They added a new level above high called extreme, and that's what the current ranking is of the fire danger in these areas. Now, if you want to figure out what that means in numbers, there's actually a number rating system in this area, and high fire danger is around 170 as a number, and the rating today was 297, which is almost double that. So we're going to look for more high wind events, high hail events, extreme weather events, because the pressure boundaries between the hot and the cold air masses cause extreme weather. Now, deep south snow is expected Friday from parts of Louisiana to North Carolina. Portions of the South will see wet snow and sleet Friday, including areas of Louisiana and Alabama in the United States, Georgia, and the Carolinas. However, the majority of the region will see cold rain. The risk for snow will extend into southern Virginia, Delaware, Delmarva Peninsula Friday night. And they're talking record colds coming into southern Florida as well with this front. This is anomalous weather. There's the snow forecast. Highest snows in the dark area here in Hattiesburg. How do you like them apples? And here's the snow forecast. You're going to see a hard front here. Warm on one side, freezing on the other. And there's the forecast 1 to 3 in the south. It's snowing in South Texas. Yes, you read it right. South Texas. Alamo much? Big and fluffy flakes in South Texas. Is this rare? What do you think? What's your thought on the process here? You know, they're going to tell you that this is related to global warming. But Corpus Christi has only had 8 days on record with measurable snow dating back to 1948. That's a big holla out there in Texas at the Alamo. South Texas, it's snowing 2 weeks before winter. Snow blankets parts of deep southern Texas and Mexico. It keeps going south. Yesterday's video, I showed you the albedo map, and we covered the snow in Guadalajara in the mountains of Texas. This Mexican snow will occur before the first accumulating snow of the season in several northeast and Midwest cities. Anomalous snow much? Grand solar minimum effects, I would say. Snow fell even further south in a bizarre event in March of 2016. That's last spring. Do you make a connection here that we're descending into something that's becoming a regular pattern? Snow in Mexico in fall. Now, snow will blanket parts of northern Mexico through Friday, giving areas south of the border the first snow over the season before some cities in the U.S. And that's a heads up. There have been 2 instances of snow in Mexico City itself during the aforementioned January 1967 storm and in 1940. We've been seeing 1967 a lot because it's right here at high cosmic ray flux time off of a really high solar max here at cycle 19. This solar minimum was epic, and this cycle 20 was a cooling epic during the Earth in the 1960s. So the 1940 event happened here on the downward arm of cycle 17 during high cosmic ray flux as well. And we're descending into something similar to the Glassberg minimum at cycle 25, and 26 will be like the Dalton minimum, and so on. Snow is even rarer in Monterey, above 3,000, but it will be falling there. And that's a heads up. I'm sorry, I have to say it, but this is some amazing stuff. And heads up to you guys in Boston. Here's the progression. Saturday at 12. Saturday at 4 p.m. Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And there's 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. You'll be able to stick a measuring stick in it. 3 to 6 in the center. We'll watch it because I don't think they really know how to forecast this new weather pattern called the Grand Solar Minimum. Alaska just reported one of the most extreme snowfall rates on record, and it is not winter. All you people complaining in Alaska how warm it is. It gets warm during ice ages up there, guys. You have an ice-free corridor. It's kind of nice. But let me explain to the masses here. We're going into a grand solar minimum, a mini ice age. We live in an ice age. So when the temperature drops 2 degrees C globally, it's not going to mean much for your local weather. More extreme weather events, yes, but you're still going to have the same winter, spring, summer, fall climates. It's as if you go out in summer, instead of it being 80, it'll be 77. You will not know the difference, except there will be no longer the empire model. There will no longer be supermarkets where you buy food, and you'll be needing to procure that all yourself, which is why we're about preparedness on this channel and why we have this channel, because the media, the mainstream media, obfuscating the truth, and the science community is being manipulated by funding. Scientists really don't want to lie to you. They have to lie to you because that's the only way they can do research. And that's the unfortunate reality of why I'm able to give you the real information, because I'm not funded by anyone. I've decided to change my life on my own volition because I know what's coming. Whether it be financial as the precursor to this, the climatic shift is beyond evidence. Skyfall set for whiteout this weekend with up to 20 centimeters of heavy snow expected. This guy's happier than ever because he's got all these arrows all around him and they're just penetrating his back here. He loves it. He's rubbing the arrows nicely. He's just pushing them around. This guy loves his job. Storm Caroline is battering everything. Heavy rain, gale, schools are closed. The country is being warned to prepare for even more harsh weather this weekend, 2 weeks prior to winter. So you're looking Belfast, east and south is the snow area, south of Edinburgh. It's a yellow severe weather warning for you guys. It's a big heads up out there. No thanks, Sky News. Bali volcano spewing ash today, 2 kilometers high. Agung is not done. Agung is not going to sleep. This is the same thing happened before with Ambe. Everyone evacuates, they let everyone back, and boom! So we're going to be watching Bali volcano because Popo also today is erupting in an ash plume. I'll leave you links. Popo and Agung, and there's several others today. Ducono, Reventador, Abico, Kliuchskov. All of them sending ash into the atmosphere. No tsunami threat to Guam from an earthquake in Micronesia that kicked off today. We have some large events. There's an aftershock just happening while we're making the video here. Let's check it out. Coming in at 5.5 over top of the 6.7. What the USGS is giving 6.5. No tsunami warning there. But we just had an aftershock of 5.5. And we've had an uptick here. 6.2 at La Esperance Rock, north of New Zealand. And then another rumbler of 4.3 downtown. I'm sure that's rattling some nerves in New Zealand. And again, we have the uptick on the west coast, in the Julian area, and on the San Andreas in general. So we'll be watching that. Space weather is getting calm. There's nothing reported, and we're going to be going into low KP again, dipping down into 1 and 0 tomorrow. which is not going to bode well for seismic activity. It should increase. So heads up to you, New Zealand and West Coast US. Now let's talk about crop losses real quick. Record rainfall significantly impacted the macadamia crop this year. They're reporting 10% losses in smaller nuts. I said it. I said smaller nuts. Purple leaves on wheat explained here for you guys wondering what's happening with the wheat crop. A lot of the wheat in the last year has been downgraded from food grade milling wheat to animal feed. I spoke to many guys at the extensions locally here, and it's happening all the way in Europe, everywhere around the globe. There is going to be a shortage within a year of wheat to make bread with. And you're talking $10 bread at that point. $10 loaves of bread in about a year. And this is because of cold, wet conditions, which have caused poor wheat growth and development. Scout your fields now to evaluate your stands. This purple leaves on wheat explained is coming out from Michigan State, and it will help you figure out what is going on with the degradation of the protein in your crop. It's called the grand solar minimum, and you need to be planting somewhere else, unfortunately, or growing in a greenhouse with augmented light. And this is the nonsense. Arctic sea ice loss could dry out California. And if you read this article, it's insane because it fails to mention the record rain and snow last year that ended the drought. That's not in their model. And that just shows you how pathetic science is. Read the article and be embarrassed. Now let's talk about solutions. I'm going to bring it to the Prepper Journal, Prepping for Beginners, Where to Start. This is a blog post, and it's very good. I know a lot of you have no idea how to start. The beginning is near, folks. I've been saying this for 4 years, and I predicted it to happen within a decade, which means we have 6 years left, and I don't think we have that many. I'm going to give it 3 at the maximum before the systems collapse globally, and it could happen anytime between now and then. So you should start reading up, because proper planning prevents piss-poor performance in a disaster. So if you have no idea where to begin, read this article on where to begin prepping. It starts, I imagine a lot of people are like me when it comes to how you were introduced to the subject of prepping. He wasn't sure he was really looking to prep. And when he first started prepping, he didn't know what he was supposed to do or what prepping even was. So you can read this and gain some insight. You are not crazy, folks. The sheeple are crazy as they stare into their squares. So this is how you begin. You read this article. I'm not going to read it for you. You have to be self-sufficient, so start now by reading that article. I will go over a bullet list, however, because I know some of you are too lazy to even read that article. And that's the unfortunate thing. Now, this is coming from preppingtosurvive.com. 18 low-cost ways to start prepping. So check out the bullet list because I'll leave you links to that. Make a plan. Do research. Make a budget. Make an everyday carry kit. This is for you folks that are near volcanoes and fault lines. Not for the rest of us smart people that have already put ourselves away from harm's way, in safe areas. And I recommend you do that if you can to begin with. And that way your EDC bag is a lot smaller, or you have it on you at all times. Because anything is possible. Make a prepper book. This is information that you're just learning that you need to know. Write it down. Look at it every day. Eventually you'll know it. Fill her up. I do this all the time. I have a 32-gallon diesel tank, and I keep it full because that will last for weeks if I can't get any. Plus, I have gallons and gallons of diesel here on site, as well as high-octane gasoline, 85, and other grade gasolines for all my equipment. I also have stabilizers so I can store it long-term. And you need to learn about this. Learn about tying knots. Build a simple get-home bag. Jumper cables. Simple things. Become self-sufficient. One day at a time, you can learn something. You need to practice, folks. If you don't know what you're doing, go out there and change your tire every day until you can do it in 1 minute. Start a garden. This is the most important thing to feed you and your family, your neighbors, and your loved ones. Seeds are not expensive. You can seed save. You can learn how to wild harvest. Number 11, learn about local wild edibles in the area you are going to stay in. Get in shape. Start working out. If you can't climb a mountain and come back down, smoke a cigarette, then you're fucked. Collect books. Eventually, we're not going to have this cloud. The number one thing I am storing here and hoarding is books. Books on sustainability, growing, and self-sufficiency. That's all my books. Books on knowledge, North American herbs and plants. It's basically a go-to reference for life. Start collecting books. They're cheap. Check out thriftbooks.com. For $50, you can get 50 books sent to you. Textbooks. Become a couponer. Read blogs. Write guest posts. Stay aware. Subscribe to our channel. Practice home repairs. You're going to have to learn how to build your own structures if it gets bad. If you have no idea how to start, you're going to sit in the middle of the yard and cry. So start prepping. Get prepared. Proper preparation prevents piss poor performance in a disaster, and we're headed into one. Because the mainstream is not going to warn you about it. Agenda 21 has already been set into motion, and the fires are burning, folks. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. There's a way to survive and thrive in the future, and that's being aware and prepared. Keep watching. Be safe.